This is honestly the most badass that I've seen Ghostface in the entire Scream franchise. This Ghostface is brutal. What is up, guys and Scream fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Owen DeBrincat, and today, of course, the horror film we've been waiting for has finally arrived. Today I'm going to review the latest horror film that came out, Scream 6. This movie is the sixth installment in the popular Scream franchise. This movie took from the same directors of the fifth Scream movie that came out last year. And this movie stars the return of Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Courtney Cox, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown, with Hayden Panettiere. Four survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage. Now I gotta be completely honest here. The Scream franchise, honestly, is probably one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. I loved the Scream movies, except for the third one. I thought the third one sucks, but the first two, the fourth one, and the fifth one that came out last year, I loved all of them. I thought those movies were a lot of fun. Those movies are great, I would say, horror comedies. They have great horror scenes and great comedy as well. So, this movie, Scream 6, this is the first Scream movie that is not taking place in Woodsboro. This movie took place in, of course, New York City. So I was excited for this film, but also feel a bit optimistic because this is a completely different location, and I don't know how this movie is going to be. I was worried that this movie won't capture the same spirit as the other Scream movies because of a different location. So I was on the middle. I was excited, but also very optimistic. And guys, honestly, I am so happy to say that I would say Scream 6, not just it's an improvement of the fifth one, which I still really liked, but I would say this is definitely one of the better Scream sequels since Scream 2. Honestly, I had a total blast with this film. First of all, the cast in this film, of course, they're fantastic in this film. The standouts are definitely Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Those two in this movie are fantastic. I love their chemistry in this movie. It's definitely stronger than the first movie, and you just like them together. They're great new additions to this franchise, and they're definitely a good replacement for Sidney Prescott in this franchise. I love to see them too in the rest of this franchise because I love them both in this film. Jenna Ortega proves to be a terrific actress from Wednesday. In this movie, she gets better and better the more acting she does. And Melissa Barrera is also fantastic in this film. We get to explore a lot more of her character in this film than Scream 5. There's a lot more to her character in this film, and I thought it's developed very well in this film. But the sister chemistry in this film is definitely one of the strong points of this film. But also, the rest of the group in this film, Mason Gooding is great in this film. Jasmine Savoy Brown is a great Randy replacement. I loved her in this film. She's definitely hilarious in this film when she points out pop culture and stuff. It definitely keeps a smile on my face and also cracks me up. But just those four in this film, I would say this group, I would say is almost as good as the original cast members of Scream because I thought this group is great. I love their chemistry in this film. It definitely presents a lot of heart to this film, and I really love those four people together. Also, Courtney Cox in this film. Man, this is definitely the best that I have seen her in this franchise, honestly. There is a moment in this film with her encounter with Ghostface in this film where I'm like, this is one of the best Gale Weathers moments that I have seen in this entire Scream franchise. I thought Courtney Cox is great in this film. Also, Hayden Panettiere. I loved her in this film, returning from Scream 4. I thought her character was much more better developed in this film than Scream 4. I thought her character was a complete badass in this film. And she definitely has a lot of character development in this film also, and I really root for her character also in this film. It's really good to see Kirby again in this film because I did like her in Scream 4. I liked her more in this film. But of course, how is Ghostface in this film? One of the most iconic serial killers in horror films. This is honestly the most baddest that I've seen Ghostface in the entire Scream franchise. This Ghostface is brutal in this film. The kills in this film are absolutely out of this world. There are some great kills in this film. The kills are so brutal. At points, I just want to scream out, "Oh shit!" That's how brutal the kills are in this film. And just the scares in this movie, the way to develop it in this film is some of the most terrifying moments that I have seen this entire franchise. Of course, you've seen the trailer, the subway sequence. I think it's one of the best moments that I have seen so far in this franchise. It's well filmed, it's well paced, and it's also really terrifying. At parts, I closed my eyes during that scene because that scene was actually really terrifying, but it's also really well done. And this movie is also hilarious. I think that's what they do great with this franchise, making fun of pop culture and horror movie cliches. This movie makes no difference, and I'm glad it stayed the same. The pop culture, the way they explain reboots and all that stuff in this film, it's just really well done. Just the whole dialogue of this film, the screenplay of this film, is almost some of the best I've seen in this franchise so far. It is well written, the story you definitely root for, and I would say the pacing of this film is absolutely flawless in my opinion. There's not a single bit in Scream 6 where I'm like, this is slow. I thought the pacing of this film is fantastic. And just the whole atmosphere in general of this movie taking place in New York City. This is the first time that we're not taking place in Woodsbury. It took place in New York City. And I thought New York City makes this movie much more terrifying because, of course, it's a big ass city. It could be anyone as a killer. And that's what makes this movie much more terrifying. So the whole atmosphere of Scream 6 in New York City is fantastic. Like, this is definitely the better version of Jason Takes Manhattan, which this movie, thank God, put a reference in now, which I'm so happy to see. I am so happy of how much fun I had with Scream 6. This is definitely one of the better Scream sequels that I've seen in this franchise. Like, I can watch this over Scream 3, 4, and even 5. But it does have a couple of issues. One of the cases, the opening scene. In my opinion, it's a good opening scene. It's a very good opening scene. All the opening scenes of the Scream movies are fantastic. But this might be my least favorite opening scene. I wish they could have done something a bit more with it. It's clever enough for this movie, but if they make a next movie, I want the opening scene to be much more clever because the opening scenes in the Scream movies are just wildly clever. I think it's a good opening scene, but it's definitely my least favorite opening scene in this franchise. And now I'm not going to spoil this flaw at all. I'm not going to spoil who, of course, the killer is. But this is the fun thing about the Scream movies for me, is where we guess who the killer is. In this film, not going to spoil who the killer is, of course, but when the killer is revealed, it's one of those moments where I'm like, I knew this whole time. I knew this whole time that this person is the killer. They did something really cool after that, which thank God it fixes all that. But just the killer reveal, I knew that the whole way through. And most of the Scream movies really surprised me who the killers are. But with this movie in general, and same with the fifth Scream movie as well, I was basically saying I knew who the killer is the whole time. And that's probably my least favorite part of this new Scream franchise. I think the killers are kind of obvious the way they reveal them. But still, I think this reveal is much better than the fifth movie because the fifth movie, I have the same opinion. This movie, they did something really good with it at the same time. But it's still one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's obvious. You know who it is from the very beginning. But overall, guys, Scream 6 is another great addition to this franchise. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. This movie has some of the most brutal kills that I've seen in the Scream franchise. The cast in the movie is fantastic, especially Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. I love them too in this film. Ghostface is definitely the most badass and brutal than ever. I think this film is definitely one of the better Scream movies that I have seen since the first movie, and definitely one of the better Scream sequels since Scream 2. I am going to give Scream 6 an A-. And also, guys, there is a post-credit scene in this movie after the credits, and I gotta say, it's probably one of the best end credit scenes that I've seen in a long time. First end credit scene in the Scream franchise, and it's definitely worth it. Just stay during the credits. It's the best. So, guys, that is my review for Scream 6. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like this movie, hate this movie, or you thought it's okay? And what is your favorite movie in the Scream franchise? Or how would you rank the Scream franchise, including this movie? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie-related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.